I can get very frustrated when I'm listening to inexperienced game masters talk about gaming sessions. What's a good gaming session? And then what they criticize. I'll hear them say, well, if it's nothing but role play in your gaming session and you're just drilling some story down on your player characters, well, then they'll judge that as you being a bad game master. Well, is that exactly what you're doing? I'm a long-term game master. Let me straighten out what that really means. It means I run long-term campaigns. I don't run one-shots. So when you come into my game, there's always going to be a multitude of sessions that you have to go through to complete a campaign. And there can be many different types of sessions because I'm a sandbox game master, or whatever you want to call it, meaning I let the players guide the game. They have all the freedom to do what they want. I don't railroad them into anything. I don't, force the player characters down a certain path. Here would be my advice to any game master who runs it the same way. They want to let their players decide where their characters are going, what they're doing. Well, to allow that freedom means you can't really measure out your sessions, right? The players are guiding it. What you can do is make sure that you yourself enjoy every part of the game. Interaction through role play or combat or what have you. Make sure you enjoy it all and you bring energy to every part of the game. You don't have to worry about how long it takes as long as it's interactive. There's going to be signs that tell you to move on, but you'll know when. When the energy is there, run with it. Let the players decide where that goes. Some sessions, I can have it where the majority of the session is player characters interacting with non-player characters. But the next session, it's nothing but combat. Maybe the next session, it's combat, traps, and interaction. Who knows? I don't really worry about measuring it out. I make sure all these things will exist somewhere in the game to be encountered, run into. And then I let the players really set the pace, where they're going, how they want to interact with the game. If they get sick of talking to non-player characters, all they got to do is take out their characters, go somewhere, find some action. I make it easy. I don't make it hard for players to figure out what they want to do if they put their foot, their best foot forward. You want to go look for some action, it will be there. You want to just roam around and spend a lot of time talking to people, trying to figure out, different parts of the game for your character, outside of just doing combat or a dungeon crawl or what have you. I'm not big on dungeon crawls either. They'll exist in different parts of, the world that I'm running in, and occasionally you can slide into one, but it will never be the centerpiece of the campaign or the focus of the campaign. It might just be an optional thing on the side, which you can avoid if you wish. But if you're looking for action, it's there, but I'm letting players control it. So how can I tell you what the best gaming session is? Well, I got no measurement for, how much combat or how much role play you should do. It's just how much do you enjoy what's going on, right? And then there are some parts of the game where, hey, you're just trapped where you are. I know that's going to sound a little weird, but imagine you have characters down in a dungeon where you can't just take them out right away. Things have to happen. Things have to be done. You'd have to find your way out of there. What have you. At that moment, the players are maybe stuck in a zone where there's going to be a lot of combat, even if they wish to avoid it. They could get into a situation where they get their characters in so much trouble that we have to go through some interaction, maybe a good bit of dialogue to figure something out. But that's only because of the player's choices. And even at that point, you're free to do whatever you want. You want to punch the guy in the face that you're talking to and make the action happen right there? Let's go, right? Make it happen. But that's in the player's hands. So as long as we're, for the most part, enjoying what we're doing, that's the best session you can run. So trying to figure out how much combat is supposed to be there, how much interaction, don't worry about that. Just make sure all those things exist for the players to choose to go after, choose to encounter, choose to run into. And then again, if the players get bored of something, you can suggest moving on the scene. But if you're not railroading, you're going to let them set the pace to a degree. Let them figure it out. They say, man, I'm getting bored of talking. Well, all you are doing, player, with your character is talking. So how about you do something that's not boring instead of looking at me? I have all the action you want. You got to make it happen. You're in control. unless you want me to control you and your character. Is that what you want? Most players tell me that's not what they want. So I would assume you want to make some action happen. Stop being a boring player with your boring character and let's go have some fun. But hey, maybe that interaction is enjoyable for the player. Hey, I don't know, but the player is the one in control. As a game master, I'm completely okay with that. That's how it's supposed to be. That's why I don't really, if I ever do a railroad, and I've done a few over the years, what I do is I tell players up front that it's a railroad. So it's a volunteer system. If you want to go on this one, you can, but I'll still give a good amount of freedom. It's in my nature to allow players to do what they want to do, even under the circumstances that they understand the game is a railroad and they volunteer to get on the railroad and play that game. So they know what they're getting into. I would never pull that on a player, and I would suggest you never pull that on a player. Make sure your players know what they're getting into. That's it. So there's your perfect session. Your best session is the ones that you enjoy. That's it. Anyway, for now, take care. You know what you can do? You can hit the like button. You can share the video. Oh, and there's another button you can press. That one that lets you subscribe to my channel for more content. Oh yeah, there's that bell thing. You can press that so you know when I've uploaded a new video right away.